It's lunchtime, I'm hungry, and everybody likes food videos, so watch this one if you want a super easy recipe in order to hit your protein goal. For this recipe, all you need is ground beef, sweet potato, cottage cheese, lettuce, and your sauce of choice. For the sweet potato, I just use this diced frozen stuff. It's super easy, you just microwave it and then you can just reheat it over and over again and it's pretty good. And then for the ground beef, I have this 93.7 that I'm using. I'm using a lettuce mix, so it's got a bunch of different stuff in it. The cottage cheese is low fat 2%. And then for the sauce, I'm using my favorite Southwest hot mustard. So starting out, I have my pan heating up and I'm going to get out the amount of ground beef that I'm using. So I'm gonna be using 8 ounces here, as that's the amount that I want for protein. And the way that I like to do this is I'll have this on my food scale. What I'll do is I'll scoop out some and then transfer it to the pan. And once I get 8 ounces out, then I know that I'm done. It's easier instead of trying to take it out and then put it into another bowl and then put it into the pan, or weighing the pan. You can have that preheating while you're able to take it out of here. You just set the scale to 0, and then as you remove it, it'll go to the negatives. So then once you get to negative 8 ounces, you know that you've hit 8 ounces. All right, so I've got 8 ounces here. Make sure you don't drop this. Make sure you wash your hands. Transfer that to the pan. All right, so ground beef is now flattened out in the pan cooking. I'm just using this Lowry seasoning salt. Use whatever seasoning that you want. And then everything else is super easy. This really doesn't take this long. You will have everything else prepped by the time that is done. So like I said, if you get this diced sweet potato that's frozen, I just get this from Walmart. It's really easy because you microwave it and you put it in for like 4.5 minutes, and then it's done, it's warmed up. And then I keep it in the fridge in this Tupperware. Anytime after that, you just microwave it and it's good to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weigh this out and get 110 grams, that's 1 serving. I'm gonna put this into here and then I'm gonna microwave it. After that, we're gonna add in the cottage cheese, the lettuce mix, and I'm gonna do 1 serving of this. I'm gonna do 2 servings of this. And then I'm gonna do 1 serving of my favorite Southwest hot mustard. Once I get that all mixed up, throw in the ground beef, mix that in. It's 1 singular bowl, it's a lot of food, it tastes great, and it does not take that long. All right, so like I said, 110 grams. I'm gonna try and get that out exactly if I can. 103, 108, 112, okay, get a little bit out. 109, 110, perfect. 110 grams. Rest of it goes back into here. And then we're gonna microwave this for about a minute. And then while the microwave's going, I'm gonna flip over the ground beef, mix that. All right, sweet potato's done in the microwave. I'm just gonna add some salt to that because I like it to be a little bit salty. The sweet and salt really goes well together. And then one thing to note, I'm using a non-stick pan for the ground beef, and so I don't have any issues when it comes to being in the bottom of the pan and sticking. I'm using a medium to low heat, and I'm just kind of simmering it and flipping it. However, if you have issues in terms of your pan being older or it's sticking in general, then this is the spray that I would use, the extra virgin olive oil. You can still get a lot of calories from this. It still says 0 on there, but if you're spraying it for a long time, then obviously it's gonna take up, a bunch of calories. And it says a 1/4 second spray is going to be 0 calories. So just do like a spritz or 2, and then once that gets distributed, you really don't need that much to help it not stick to the pan. All right, so the ground beef is almost done browning. So in that time, I'm just gonna finish up what I'm doing with this bowl, so that way we can add it to here as soon as we're done. So for here, the serving size is gonna be 113 grams. I'm gonna do 226 because I wanna double up on the calories and double up on the protein. This is 90 calories per serving, so 180, and then 13 grams protein, so we're gonna be getting 26 grams of protein. So 180 calories, 26 grams of protein is pretty good. So then again, we're gonna go for 223 grams here. Now, if you've seen my video on how to pour the cottage cheese better, what you usually do is you take a spoon or a fork and you scoop it out from the container that's on the scale and you put it into here then, that way you don't overdo it. But you can just do it this way and it's perfectly fine in terms of weighing it out, but that's just a helpful tip. So there we go, 223 grams. Lid back on that, zero out the scale again, and this is gonna be 85 grams for 1 serving. 85 grams for a lettuce mix or lettuce in general goes a really long way. You can get a lot of volume. So I really like to just pour this on, and that would be 85 grams. I'm gonna do just a little bit more because I don't have much left of this, and so I wanna get it used up. But just know that 85 grams is the recommended amount that I would say to use for this recipe. If you want more volume, do more. Again, this is 15 calories for 85 grams. So even if I do double, that's 30 calories. That's not that much. So if you want more volume, add more vegetables. And then finally here, the last thing before I put in the ground beef is going to be the Southwest hot mustard. I really love this sauce. There's a lot of other low-calorie sauces that you can do though. This would be good with something like a barbecue sauce or a hot sauce. You could do something like a sweet and sour sauce, or you could do something like honey mustard. All of these are things that I've done before or that I would recommend. You can get low-calorie versions of all of these from brands like G. Hughes. There's other brands out there. Again, this is just a great value one that happens to be low calorie, but most hot sauces are low calorie. And then again, like I said, there's low calorie alternatives for a lot of these sauces that you would regularly find too. So the ground beef is done now, and I took it off the heat. That way it can wait just 1 second while I mix this up. I prefer to mix this before I add in the ground beef because it gets to be pretty full in the bowl, and so I don't want to spill over the edges. And also it helps to kind of just get all of the sauce mixed together onto everything. The lettuce takes up so much room and the pieces are kind of large, so if you get a smaller shredded lettuce, it's easier to distribute the sauce, which is so good. I love it in every bite, so I'd rather have it split around. But again, since I'm recording this, I'm obviously having to cut in between. I'm having to show what I'm doing and explaining it. If I was doing this without recording, this would be so much faster in terms of doing all of these steps. And so half of the time I'm waiting around for the ground beef to be done. That way I can put it into the bowl and eat it, because everything else just takes so little amount of time. Even if I'm using a new package of sweet potato, the frozen sweet potato, that's the longest step and it takes 4.5 minutes to microwave. Other than that, it's literally just waiting for the ground beef to ground. And so if you were to prep a bunch of ground beef, you would literally just warm that up and then put everything else with it, and it would be great. So, pretty much fully mixed in here. That's what we're looking like. We're gonna add the ground beef and then we'll see what the whole picture is. Okay, so ground beef, again, I did 8 ounces. You want to use how much is going to meet your calories and meet your goals. If you're a smaller person, you might not want to use 8 ounces. If you're a bigger person, you might want to use more. But on average, I think 6 to 8 ounces is a good serving size for most people. Ground beef is added. That's what we're looking like now. Steamy right out of the pan. And I'm gonna mix this up a little bit so that way it's all kind of blending together. And there we go, that's what we're looking like. Now, you could eat this just by itself. If this is enough food for you, that's awesome. However, I'm gonna pair it with fruit because it wouldn't be a meal for me if it wasn't with fruit. I feel like it adds micronutrients, it adds fiber, it adds flavor, it's more volume, and so I'm gonna have an apple with it. So if you were to just eat this bowl, 670 calories and 63 grams of protein, the bowl's as big as my head, okay? I mean, we're talking about a lot of food here, right? So that itself would be hard enough to eat, but I'm having an apple on the side that's going to be very low calorie, going to add a lot of fiber, a lot of micronutrients, and on top of that, I'm going to have my creatine today with sparkling water. So this is your reminder to have your creatine, but with sparkling flavored water, it makes it taste better and it's more enjoyable. This is going to be my meal for the day. It's going to taste good, hit my macros, hit my micros. If you want me to make any of your recipe ideas or you liked this video, leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe so you get more videos like these because I'm going to be posting more cooking videos if you guys respond and say that you like this stuff. So let me know. Otherwise, this has been my video on how to make this ground beef, sweet potato, lettuce, spicy, sweet bowl.